boy.
To clinch her second title of the season. Indeed. Brandon. There it is. Nice. Bang.
Winning shot. Simo.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to ABC Gates Bowl here in Gates, New York, just outside of Rochester, New York. It is the finals of the PWBA Pepsi Open. Emil Williams Jr. alongside Sydney Brummett. And Sid, we watched some fantastic matches in the round of 8. Of course, our bracket match play format back in business here for the Pepsi Open. The living legend Liz Johnson is now in a semifinal match. She will take on certainly one of the youngest stars. She's got superstar written all over her, and Norah Johansson. Our other semifinal will feature Lindsay Boomershine taking on Shannon, two greats, two Nebraska greats to take it back to the collegiate landscape. But first, Sid, we've got Liz and Norah first on the docket. So many superlatives we can talk about with Liz Johnson. Back in New York, the last time she made a show was in this building at the 2023 U.S. Women's Open. How does she get this thing done tonight and add another layer to what is already a very successful resume?
I mean, I think she just has to be Liz, right? And enjoy the moment, enjoy being home in New York. She has an opportunity for another title here. She's bowling a young player who she arguably has way more experience than. And so she just has to use that to her advantage.
And speaking of that young player, Norah Johansson got her first taste of the spotlight, if you will, at the PWBA Anniversary Open, bowling in front of more than 6,500 fans at the Resch Center in Green Bay. I got to think that utilizing that opportunity, that experience, a little bit of a obviously smaller venue, that may help her, I think, tonight. What do you think?
It definitely could, but at Junior Gold in the Resch Center in front of all those kids, I'll never forget the sound of the crowd when Norah threw that first shot down the lane, because it was a roar. It was amazing to be a part of, and she needs that type of energy to be able to beat the GOAT.
That's a great point indeed. She is looking to become the first two-handed woman to win a PWBA Tour title. Speaking of other legends, living legends, that ageless wonder, we start to talk about Shannon in that light. She is the lone lefty in tonight's field. Said she's got to take on Lindsay Boomershine, obviously a very tough opponent, but Pluhowski with plenty of experience. This is show number 26 of her career since the relaunch.
Yeah, it's incredible to think that she's made that many shows, but hasn't won quite as much as we would expect Shannon to. I think as she continues to gather momentum, which started stop one of last season, we're going to see her win more and more and more, and that next time may be tonight.
Pluhowski did win 2 titles in 2024. She's got 2 majors, of course, as well. And Lindsay Boomershine, speaking of majors, she won the 2023 USBC Queen. She is looking for title number 2. How does she overcome Pluhowski and get herself to the title match?
I think Lindsay just gets to be really comfortable. The entire time throughout qualifying, as well as in her matches, she never really blinked. It seemed like she was seeing the lane the right way, and so just being present, being in the moment, not trying to beat her opponent, but rather beat the lane is what Lindsay needs to do.
Speaking of the lanes, let's take you out to the lanes as semifinal number 1 is set to begin. Liz Johnson set to take on Norah Johansson here at ABC Gates Bowl. Liz Johnson will start the match. She is the higher seed and had choice. And the first shot in the pocket. 10 pin for the legend. Thanks to our crew here tonight. Patrick Martinez on the 1s and 2s. Of course, Sydney Brummett to my left, handling TV stats tonight. Appreciate Cecil Scarborough, our player services manager. All right, nice spare to start things. First look at Norah Johansson tonight. Again, looking to become the first two-handed woman to win a PWBA title. That first TV experience. Again, back at the Anniversary Open. Urethane to start. The urethane to strike.
Had the opportunity to bowl next to Norah for the entire 12 games of qualifying yesterday, and she started with urethane both blocks, very committed to it, stayed in it as long as possible.
Second frame. Oh, send the pins.
Woo! Nice little and one, Kev, if you're watching.
That's an early double for Norah. Other storylines, of course, that not just what's in front of us, obviously 2 semifinals and someone will win the Pepsi Open tonight, but specifically within this match, if Norah Johansson wins this match and defeats Liz Johnson, gets to the finals, that will knock out Olivia Farwell from the 24th spot of the top 24, as Liz Johnson looked like, based on what we saw earlier today, I feel like that was the furthest right we've seen some equipment from Liz.
Yeah, I didn't doubt that that was what was going to happen tonight, only because Lindsay and Norah both are throwing urethane, and they both did for quite a few shots in practice, which I was surprised about. I would have thought we would see a bit less of it go down the lane in practice to preserve that look, but both players threw it for so long they may not feel the need to. Liz can use that urethane as hold, and so she'll get right of it, use a little bit more surface, and let her ball hook early and find the 1-3.
Great shot, cruising like a rock star is Liz, and that's the piece of equipment that she has elected to start with. Oh, spare early double for Liz Johansson, who came over to bowl the USBC Queens last year. And for Norah at that time, that was the only event that she decided to bowl. This year, a full season's worth of competition on the PWBA Tour. It's the place to get better. And here she is looking for an early 3-bagger. She's got that. So much obviously to like about Norah's game, but some of the things we've learned over the course of a couple of weeks, starting with the Anniversary Open, her entry into the sport via birthday party, and now that two-handed style, recently picked that up, not last year, but certainly within the last few. It's a good break there. That's a break that she actually didn't get on the Anniversary Open show. She left a couple of those.
Yeah, the Anniversary Open was so unique, right? Brand new install lanes had never been bowled on before. Nick Oglen actually took the time to oil them many times. I'm talking about 50, 60 times before we actually had the shows in the building, because we needed just to have the lanes be oiled and be used to being conditioned. Where here the ball picks up a little bit sooner, so that 8-10 falls, only leaving the 2-pin.
These are one-game matches, important to note, different than the format, of course, that got us here in the best-of-5 scenarios. Again, the winner will advance to face the winner of semifinal number 2, which will feature Shannon Blahowski and Lindsay Boomershine. If Liz Johnson wins the tournament tonight, she will advance to the Tour Championship as a champion, and also thus knocking out Olivia Farwell from the 24th and final spot. That's right. And it's going to stay right. Missed the head pin right.
did confirm with Joey Kay of Team Storm that Liz is not using any more surface than she did earlier, just able to play a bit further right.
Liz looking for title number 26. It would be her 16th standard title. She's got 10 majors, of course, 6 U.S. Women's Open titles. Look out. And she knew it when she let it go. USBC and PWBA Hall of Famer. She was inducted into the PWBA Hall of Fame this season, 2025 in May, just prior to the start of the USBC Queens. She then went on to finish tied for 33rd at the Queens. This is just her 4th event of the season. She spent some time here and on the PBA 50 where she makes shows as well. Also won the Senior Queens this year. Back on it. Again, 1 game matches. So from that aspect, true to the stepladder portion, but it is not a stepladder in that true form. 2 semifinals. Norah got here. And defeating Liz Colkin and Verity Crawley. Oh, wow. How does that not connect? We were talking about messengers the other night, Sid, and you wonder how does that not connect? Oof. Even our photographer couldn't believe it. 23 pin advantage for Norah. See that extended hand and follow through going to the right to keep that spare ball online. When you think about just the coaching aspect of things, Sid, from her perspective, 2-handed player, still with the revs, but trying to obviously take a little bit out with the plastic ball. How do you teach that, especially with the 2-handed style?
I tell all my players that I work with, bowling balls don't hook on their own, and the only way they hook is with rotation. And so we just learn to minimize the rotation as much as possible, and that's what she does really well.
Bang. That one was essentially a no-doubter. A nice opening 6 frames of competition here for Norah against Liz Johnson, who steps up now in frame 6, trailing by 23 pins. She finished 23rd earlier this week in the Rochester Open. Speaking of LJ. Good shot there, wraps 10. Obviously, Norah is not the type of opponent you want to be trailing early against with her ability to string strikes. A good spare for Liz Johnson, who defeated Brianna Clemmer in the round of 16 and Stephanie Zavala in the round of 8. Seventh frame. Great shot. Keeps her in it for the moment. Still 235 max for Liz Johnson, whose last title came at the 2021 PWBA Lincoln Open. Now back to Norah. Oof. Similar situation there as in regards to the wrap 10.
That was as good as it gets. The last one, yes, it was a messenger. That is a flat 10, and you hope that the head pin connects off the sidewall, but that one's a wrap 10, and I joke all the time. As a player, as a coach, I'd rather flat 10 than wrap 10 because you know you have to do something different. When you wrap 10, you're like, that was as close as it gets to striking. I just need to execute another good one again.
It didn't quite stick the landing, but it does not affect the spare conversion. Coming up next, at the conclusion of this match, we will have our first bowling ball giveaway courtesy of Brunswick. Again, big thanks to Pepsi, official soft drink. Not just at the PWBA, but bowling. Sydney Brunswick walked right in here with the Pepsi. They're like, I'm like, okay, Sid, just strut it.
I'm sure it did.
That one gets the 10 out. Big shot coming up here for Liz on the right lane. And for the most part, it's been a pretty solid and well-bowled match, minus frame number 4. Missed the head pin right and then missed the spare, taking the 2-4 off the 1-2-4. Trailing by 23. Again, max score is still 235. Feels like a must-have here. And, oh, and there it is.
The and one for the goats.
Needed to have that one. Although she will not control her destiny, but she can make the young Swedish player, 22 years old, speaking of Norah Johansson, at least think about it in the 10th frame.
Proof that you don't necessarily need a ton of rev rate to get the messenger. Both players here have one to their game in this semifinal match.
Ninth frame, mix them up. It was revealed at the PWBA Hall of Fame ceremony that Liz Johnson would have a conference room inside of the hallowed halls of the USBC. There are conference rooms named after many Hall of Famers, and now Liz Johnson will be included in that. The room will be filled with Liz Johnson-like memorabilia, posters, pictures, etc. As Norah Johansson feeling the heat a little bit from Liz. Now trails by 3, looking to reclaim the lead. Bang! Fierce right there, Sydney Brunswick.
A little bit of ice in your veins to get that one. They should have goat yoga in that conference room. Just thinking about that, it would make sense.
Strike 8 spare would be a winner. Strike 9 out 2. Oh ho ho! Great shot. Boy, Sid. I mean, this is bowling, of course, and those things do happen, but nothing looked out of place there, I assume, right?
No, it was a great shot. I mean, when you wrap 10, there's not a lot you can do as a player. I mean, when our scoring pace is higher, typically we'll change something, but it's so small.
We'll get there. Norah strikes here. Give her 227. Liz Johnson would need a double and 3 to advance to the title match. And there it is. The stage is set for the Hall of Famer. At 51 years young. I'm sure her parents, she talks so eloquently about all the time, especially during her most recent PWBA Hall of Fame acceptance speech. Everybody from Western New York, the entire country certainly. Many have recognized Liz Johnson as the GOAT. She needs a double and 3 pins to advance. That looks to be online. And mixes them up. Hall of Fame carry. Said that looked to be online to me.
Yeah.
It looked to push maybe just a hair long.
It did, and that's more Norah's urethane that we're seeing causing that. It's why as the match has gone on, it kind of feels like Liz's ball motion gets a little bit more lazy because she hits that carry down that the urethane ball brings down lane. Ultimately, though, it could be helpful for Liz if she can get this double here as the matches go on.
Strike in 3. Lean on it. And there it is. The living legend rides again.
Hats off to Norah. I want to really emphasize how good that game was that she just bowled. It was, you know, we saw her at the Anniversary Open. I thought that it was a quality bowled game here, even better than what we saw in Green Bay. And she's just going to continue to compound on that. But unfortunately, everyone has their Liz Johnson story. Right now, Norah has hers.
All 3 in the 10th. Liz Johnson, 235. Norah Johansson, 227. And as you just said, Sid, a well-bowled game by Norah takes us back again to the Anniversary Open, which also was a well-bowled game for Norah. Again, the 2 mistakes there. There were 0 mistakes, I felt, in this game.
Yes, agreed. Agreed. You can't really do much differently than what she just did. You bowl your game like that, you hope that it's enough, and ultimately you're bowling one of the greatest of all time, if not arguably the GOAT. And you gave her an opportunity to get a double. More than likely she's going to get it.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll step aside. When we return, we will have our first bowling ball giveaway. It'll be courtesy of Brunswick. But first, a word from our proud sponsor, Pepsi, the official soft drink of bowling. All right, welcome back to competition, ladies and gentlemen, as we get prepared for semifinal number 2. Again, the bracket format was in use here for the PWBA Pepsi Open, but it's now time for our bowling ball giveaway, the first of tonight, and it is brought to you in part by Brunswick, the leader in bowling balls, shoes, equipment, and apparel. Find out the latest products, promotions, and news from Brunswick and shop online at brunswickbowling.com or through your local pro shop today. All right, the giveaway officially underway. If this is your first time trying to win a bowling ball or any giveaway on Bowl TV, I encourage you, if you're watching in full screen, to exit out of full screen mode. That way you can see the lower third prompts at the bottom of your video screen. Once the first countdown is complete, there will be an additional countdown, and you will be asked simply to click the words submit entry. That's all you have to do to be entered to win tonight, of course, our first one, a bowling ball courtesy of Brunswick. Mr. Producer, how many giveaways do we have tonight? We have 2 bowling balls, and so the next one will be courtesy of Storm. All right, as we watch practice here, I'll turn to one Sydney Brummett with urethane already in use. You talked about urethane from Lindsay Boomershine during her early practice. I just watched a couple of urethanes, and of course go down the lane again from Boomershine. What's her play, especially considering that she's been using or starting matches with urethane throughout, and I think you even mentioned qualifying as well.
Yeah, she used it in qualifying both rounds. Even times where I thought she had a game that maybe would cause her to want to get out of it, whether it was a 7-10 or maybe it started to not carry as much, she would stay in it for a long time. And I believe it's because it keeps her ball motion predictable down the lane. We saw a lot of splits, a lot of designs down the lane from our ladies throughout qualifying, and so it gave Lindsay predictable ball motion. She'll be able to probably do that here again tonight, but I'm not so sure that it's going to last as long, only because you have Liz playing to the right, you have Norah, who also threw urethane, and we saw a lot of urethane go down the lane in the practice. So for Lindsay, she may have to get out of it a bit sooner. We just saw the red one go down the lane. It definitely didn't hook as much as she would have wanted to down lane. I wouldn't be surprised if the next practice shot is with reactive.
Congratulations to Jim Grindsteiner, I believe that was the name. You've got yourself a Brunswick bowling ball. Again, big thank you to Brunswick. Thank you to you, Jim, as well, for hanging out, watching, subscribing to Bowl TV. If this is your first time winning, and you've never heard this before, but I bet you have, please give it about 14 business days or so before you receive or at least reach out to the marketing squad at Bowl TV. They should be emailing you to gain the additional details needed to fulfill your request, or I should say your win. Make sure you check your spam, your junk folders, because you don't want to miss that. And if for some reason those 14 business days do go by, feel free to reach out to them at marketing@bowl.com if you do not see or hear from them. All right, we've reached and moved on, to, of course, to semifinal number 2. The lone lefty here, Shannon Pluhowski, just had a birthday on August 8th. (43 years old). Lindsay Boomershine, 39 years old. Lindsay's birthday is in December. She'll be moving on to that next milestone. It hasn't been about shows and getting to the shows for Boomershine over the course of her career. It's just been about sealing the deal. Early on in her career, she had some trouble, and I feel like really the last couple of seasons when she's been on the show, she certainly has not really beaten herself. Her opponents have beaten her. She has put herself in great position to win, and she did that again earlier today in a great matchup in the round of 8 against Valerie Bercier, the number 1 seed.
Yeah, it went to game 5, and Lindsay went through every transition piece that you could think of, right? She started with urethane. When she got out of it, we were a bit behind the move, and then once she got there, it was great. And then we saw the ball start to labor a bit, and she almost tried something else in the fill. Realized count was important, got the count she needed. Next game, stuck with the same ball, strike, and I believe it was flat 10, and she could have bailed, ball changed, and instead we saw her go to her toolbox, make an adjustment, and force a really great game out of Val, and Lindsay ended up coming out on top.
All right, just to update you on the top 24 scenarios and points, now that Norah has been eliminated. Since that has happened, it is now Liz Johnson and Liz Johnson alone who can remove Olivia Farwell from the 24th and final spot, who will advance to tomorrow's Tour Championship top 24 in points, including, of course, this season's champions. Farwell right now hanging on the bubble, and she is actually here in the building. If Liz Johnson wins the title, Farwell will be out of the Tour Championship. First shot for Boomer Shine. And the 2-4-5. He's got the IQ 78U in play. That's been the, again, common denominator for Lindsay to start matches and qualifying as well. Again, the winner will face Liz Johnson. Great game bowled by Norah Johansson. A nice opening spare. There was a moment in the match against Bercier late in game 4. She was going to make a ball change on the fill and realized that 9 or a strike would have still forced Bercier to mark. She stuck with the same bowling ball. Bercier did end up striking to win the match, but Lindsay stayed with the ball that she was going to, or stayed with the original piece of equipment. As we see Shannon Pluhowski, first shot, and a 7-pin. Thank you to ABC Gates Bowl, Kelvin, Dave, Rick, and the entire staff. Just a really wonderful crew here. Was here way back in 2016. Actually, that's one of my favorite memories of my time on the PWBA Tour. I know Carolyn Doran-Ballard is watching. And she made the Rochester TV show right here in this building. Of course, at the time, TV shows were taped at major event locations. But watching her do what she had to do in the 10th frame, and then, of course, have husband Dell right there, and they shared a nice embrace. One of the great moments.
Nice little trip 6 for Shan there.
Plowski just continues to get better. These last couple of seasons have certainly proved it, even though this one has been a little bit of an up and down scenario. Back to Boomer Shine. And the wiggle. And the mixture goes for Lindsay. Husband Hank, son Aiden, I'm sure watching. In Brigham City, Utah. But Lindsay's originally from New York. She is from Amherst, New York, which is about 60 miles or so west from where we are currently located. Any of those fans that you see back there have been here since the start of this tournament, and not just the Rochester Open, but the bowl with the pros, even the practice session. Will not trip that 2 or roll it forward. Where and how much longer, if you will, Sid, does Lindsay really have, so to speak, in your opinion, on if she has to get out of urethane and move to react?
Well, I just talked with Team Storm, and I asked the question, just how convinced are we about the 78? And the answer was convinced. We feel good about it. But if it starts to feel tight down lane, they have a pitch black for her to go to. Makes sense to me because it's going to hook a little bit sooner. She may not feel the tightness in the back part of the lane without having to go to reactive. We didn't, at least I didn't see that from her in qualifying or in the match play. I saw her go from urethane straight into reactive. So this pitch black may bridge that gap for her. When I saw it in practice, I liked the pitch black more than the 78. Personally, I thought it was going through the pins much better.
Now to Pluhowski. Great shot. Shannon Pluhowski, 25-time Team USA member. And folks, that is 25 years in a row, consecutively. She's no doubt a Hall of Famer. Already had top 5 finish so far this season. Finished 3rd at the Bowl TV Open at Yorktown Lanes, Parma Heights, Ohio, just outside of Cleveland. And a 3-pin.
The 3-pin thought about it.
Gave that notion like she kind of went over the top of it.
That's one thing about Shannon. She'll tell us. She'll tell us exactly what happened. And then very quickly shoot the spare.
Makes the switch to take care of the spare. And at a 9-pin lead at that time. The entity ball of choice right now for Pluhowski. Shannon nearly made the Rochester Open show. She finished 7th earlier this week. It's a good start, and it'd be exactly what the doctor ordered with the Tour Championship on its way. Boomer shine. That one was right from the start, and now washout.
To me, Lindsay is just right in all of Norah's traffic. Right, and so if she's not perfect because she's throwing the 78, which is naturally longer than the pitch black, she just doesn't have enough miss room. And I wish bowling was about accuracy sometimes. It would make our game much more simple if we hit what we were looking at and
make it. Nicely done.
Great shot there from Lindsay. If we hit what we were looking at, we got maximum points. That'd be really cool. But we play a game of how big can our error be? And so how much can you miss by and have it do the right thing? And spares are about accuracy, though. Check out this from Lindsay. Keeps her in this match. She is going to make the change to a pitch black. So she was in the IQ 78 urethane bowling ball. Just to a different one. Theoretically should hook sooner. Give her a bit more motion down lane.
Boomershine bowling in her 11th career step ladder finals. Great change. There's the possibility of 2 New Yorkers bowling for the title here tonight. One player originally from Phoenix, of course now living in Dayton, has been for quite some time, looking to say otherwise, and that's Shannon Pluhowski. Light mixer goes again. She's got a little bit of miss room, it looks like, which is, of course, always a bowler's best friend.
Yeah, it's needed at this level. I was talking about, I think at our last event, Rochester Open, I said as we watched Shannon light mixer in that right lane, EJ had this interview where he talked about, every bowler at this level is great, and all of our good ones are going to strike most of the time, or at least get us a really good 9. It's how good is the result of our bad ones.
To double up. Sends him again. Let's see, young Autumn, who's no longer really young. Was you talk about growing up on tour. You can recall the days early where Autumn was like but a young tyke. And now I feel like she's at the preteen level. Dynamite softball player. Here draped in the pink blanket, there she is, watching intently. That's got a peel, and not enough. 2-10. She made the change on the left first. Beautiful shot. We did see Liz Johnson, of course. Now, when Liz missed right and she was in reactive, of course, that was a situation where if there's an OB, that might just be it. You had to give it a run there. Bowling on this 40 feet lane condition. That's the distance. 3.03 to 1 with 27.2 mils. Sid, what were the trouble spots, if you will, that you and some other players faced as you navigated qualifying yesterday?
We could be fairly straight on the fresh. Where you see that kind of pyramid of oil, we would just want to use the kind of pink shade as our hold in the middle part of the lane. And we could do that for about a game and a half. And game 2, it would blow open. And you had to figure out how you did that. Great shot there from Lindsay, because what was interesting was each player could do it in their own way. And when I was talking to my reps at the end of practice, I said, I feel like the Rochester event is very straightforward. There's one option, and you do that option. And then fast forward to Pepsi, it felt like there were so many options that you didn't know if it was going to work or not, and it really depended on what the players you were bowling with did. Same here on our TV show.
Plowski now with a 37-pin advantage and looking to increase it. Maybe. Oh. Ooh. Yes, indeed. She finished 11th at the Anniversary Open. I mentioned the third place finish at the Bowl TV Open. Watch the 7-pin. Oh, get out of town. Shout out to, of course, Carrie, Christopher, Emerson, and London. I'm sure all watching. Parents, I'm sure, watching. Shout out to Tiffany, her sister, as well. Well, when you can carry that, things are going your way, and that's certainly the case for Shannon Pluhowski here in semifinal number 2. If you're joined us late, we welcome you to ABC Gates Bowl here in Rochester, New York. Continued coverage of the PWBA Pepsi Open. This is semifinal number 2. The first semifinal was a good one, as Liz Johnson defeated Norah Johansson 235 to 227. Liz needed a double and 3 in the 10th frame, and she did exactly that. She actually brought all 3 in the 10th. Johansson had a chance to shut out Liz, but left a wrap 10 on the first shot in the 10th frame and gave Liz the opportunity to step up and perform, and she did. 57-pin deficit now for Boomer Shine. She's got to get going and get going in a hurry. That's a good one. Thank you to, again, Cecil Scarborough, our player services manager. Of course, that max score for Plahowski is 269 at the moment, so Lindsay needs tons of strikes, obviously, and a ton of help, of course, from Shannon Plahowski. She's got her photo draped at the Nebraska Bowling and Training Center in Lincoln. National champion, multi-time All-American there. Made the show this early on at the season opener in Topeka, finished 5th. It's got a push. And a 3-pin. 2 other top 10 finishes for Lindsay here at the Rock and Roll Open and the Anniversary Open in 2025. But this one all but mathematical at this point. Top 16 who did qualify was certainly a very good group. It came down to some truly great bowling late. 4 players fell out of the top 16, which is so rare when it's cut time, as Boomer Shine makes the spare. Couple jump in. 2 rounds earlier today, the round of 16, then the round of 8. Mentioned Boomer Shine. Defeated Macon Duff 3-0. But in a hard-fought 5-game battle, defeated Valerie Bercier. Plahowski, another one. Plahowski's road. It was an early 5-game match against Anna Anderson, and then defeated Shayna Ung 3-0. There's the bracket on your screen. As this one is indeed mathematical. It's just a matter of what's the final score going to be for Shannon Plahowski. Another living legend was in the building earlier today for the round of 8. Millie Ignizio, the USBC and PWBA Hall of Famer. Give a quick look around. I'm not sure she's here. I hope she's here for the finals. She certainly was in the building for the round of 8. Well, as mentioned, Sid, there's only one lefty here. And that look, needless to say, right? Stating the obvious, looks pretty darn good.
That's pretty good. Yeah, she has miss room. She's feeling comfortable.
LB will finish things out. Hindsight's always 20/20, but you talked about the confidence and conviction with the strategy after speaking with Team Storm to start the match. They had a plan, and they went to it with regard to from the 78 to the pitch black. And as you mentioned earlier, maybe just enough of the urethane use from Norah plays a role in the reaction that Lindsay experienced here in this match.
Yeah, no doubt. Norah and the practice, right? When you're thinking about throwing urethane, the practice time is so crucial. And I was standing here and watched every shot of practice because I wanted to know, how often was your thing going to go down the lane? How much can we conserve those back ends for the reaction to stay great for both players, right? How long? And I think it might have just been enough that it caused some trouble for Lindsay.
All right, official tally, 269 to 189. Shannon Puhalski will advance. Oh, she gave a little dap right there to Autumn. Okay, I see y'all. Well, folks, this is one of those matchups that we don't get a chance to see too much of, right? Liz hasn't bowled a ton this season, but obviously if she's entering, you know she's got an opportunity. It is here. She's going to face Shannon Puhalski. Oh, what a matchup that's coming up. But first, a word from Storm, and on the other side, our second and final bowling ball giveaway, also courtesy of Storm. The championship match is next here at the PWBA Pepsi Open.
Is it about bowling that captivates us so much? Mastery of the game is impossible, but perfection is just within reach. Success seems to lie 60 feet ahead, but the real battle takes place 6 inches between your ears. So if no matter how many times you fail, you would still do anything, and I mean anything, just to get 1% better. We know exactly how you feel.
Again, thank you to Storm, the leading manufacturer of high-performance bowling balls. Visit stormbowling.com to pick your next Storm bowling ball, and always remember to bowl up a Storm. And we also say thank you to Lane Talk, valuable USBC Gold partner. Stop by lanetalk.com. Find live scoring links in centers across the U.S. and all the latest products to help you track your scores and improve your game. All right, bowling ball giveaway is out. Again, get out of full screen mode if you are in it, so you can see the lower third prompts. Once the first countdown, which is essentially the warning to let you know that the giveaway is underway, once that removes itself, of course, the next one will be, it will ask you to submit your entry. That's all you have to do. So look toward the bottom of your screen, click Submit Entry, and it's all you have to do to be entered to win, again, a bowling ball, this time courtesy of Storm, one of our proud Go partners, along with Go Bowling. Today is National Bowling Day, so I hope you went bowling. Shout out to Go Bowling. Thank you for all they do. Lane Talk, Storm, of course, Kegel, and Brunswick, the gold partners here on the PWBA Tour. Saw Liz Johnson throwing what looked to be an Ion Max. Said you anticipate she's going to be in the same zone based on some of the practice shots we've seen at this point.
Yeah, I would anticipate it, no doubt. And it's just a matter of which bowling ball are we going to see from Liz. I think it was a blessing in this moment that she was match number 1, because she gets the practice, right? Shan P does not. I also don't think she needed it, right? She just shot 269. There's nobody bowling on the same side of the lane as her. Where Liz, I do think, would have needed these practice shots, because so much of the lane has changed with the practice and then the 10 frames that just went down the lane from Lindsay. So interested to see what Liz chooses here. A couple different balls going down the lane, including the Rockstar that she threw the first match, Ion Max. I know she had a phase 2 in the bag from matches earlier, but I don't see that one on the rack.
Congratulations to Rick S. You have got yourself a Storm bowling ball. Again, Rick, if you have been watching, you know the spiel. 14 business days. We should have, or you should receive an email. Make sure you check your spam and junk email folders. If you don't hear anything within that time, make sure you then reach out to marketing@bowl.com. Here we go. The higher seed here is Shannon Puhalski, so she does have choice of lane and who starts. Liz Johnson looking for title number 26. Last time she won a title, again, 2021 Lincoln Open, also shot 300 during that event. Of course, she's got a couple of those in stepladder finals across her illustrious career. Shannon Pluhowski looking for title number 5. Pluhowski has made at least one show in every year since the relaunch in 2015. Here we go. Rockstar it is. Wrapped in. Good shot. Early single pin for Liz Johnson. And that is handled. Liz now 3 for 3 in the 10-pin conversion department. Now across 1 match and a quarter, if you will. Anna Pluhowski. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, if you like fast bowling, this is for you. We might go to dinner right now. Bang.
Especially between the two of them. Right.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Liz and Shan. Oh my goodness.
There's no
We're
wasted motion.
zooming.
The one thing we know, and there's several things we know, but we know that Shannon is well versed in bowling, you know, alone, right on her side of the lane. So if there's anyone comfortable in this scenario, certainly it's Pluhowski. Good shot, wrap 7. But a few wraps 7s and 10s. That's something we also noticed during the Rochester Open stepladder finals, Sid.
Yeah, it's almost better to go high and trip a 4-9 or a 6-8 if you're Shan, and better late swisher. Like every time we saw someone run over the 1-3 or the 1-2, they wrapped a 10 or a 7.
Pluhowski had 2 titles last year in 2024. Took home the Twin Cities Open and the Music City Classic. Looking for her 3rd title in 2 seasons. Liz with the Rockstar. She's also going to throw this on the right lane. Oof, A-pin thought about it momentarily. And thought better of it.
It's a quality shot there from Liz on the right lane. We saw outside of that 10th frame, not as many convincing strikes. That one, whenever she really likes one, her body language will tell you, and that one she for sure did. Headed into the 3rd frame.
Double feels real important here. Man, a little bit of a weak 10 there. Saw that one. Wanted to kind of start moving on up the hill, but couldn't quite get there.
Mm-hmm. Make it 4 for 4. For Liz on 10 pins. Through a game in 3 frames.
All right, on the right side of your screen, that is updated standings or points through our semifinal matches. Shout out to Donovan Grubauer, who has been on the spot handling the points. Again, if Liz Johnson wins the title, Olivia Farwell will be out of the top 24, and Liz Johnson will take that spot as a champion. And that's a good break. Again, just to further iterate, Liz Johnson has to win the title right? Her points not enough to be in the top 24 on their own. Of course, she did not bowl a full season, and so she has to win to get into the Tour Championship, which begins tomorrow evening. Actually, practice session in the morning. Been a great week so far for Pluhowski because she has improved her point standing every day this week. And she is firmly now into the top 24 as well, with great finishes, again, 7th at the Rochester Open, and at worst, 2nd here. Good stuff in the PBA 50 that's also ongoing. And also on Bowl TV. Didn't like that one, did Shannon? Oh, how about that? That's a lot of 9 right there. She immediately came up and out of that one.
Yeah, there was a ton of just trying to almost like bail out of it, which is weird from Shannon because she plants. So sometimes we'll see that from people who slide because maybe they overslide or they stick or something happens, but she plants, and so it's not common that we see that.
Well, you know, Shannon bowls so fast, she didn't even give us an opportunity to get the replay out so we can see exactly what happened. She did take care of the spare, though. That is now 3 consecutive 9 spares. She's obviously wrapped a couple of 7s, as we saw. It's been single pin city here so far for these 2 players. Just 2 strikes between them. That's got to hold. What a break there. You saw it. You felt it. You sensed it. Good break, just leaving it a 10-pin.
Yeah, because earlier on this week, I think on this right lane, we saw Julia Bond 410 on a really good shot. It just was a bit high. Liz there lucky to get the 4 out late, leaving only the 10.
Looking ahead here as we watch this 10-pin attempt. Now 5 for 5 in that department. What's the move for Liz here as she's sending pins there? Got a little bit of deadwood. Is it Damon or Ryan?
Liz says she's got it.
Oh, okay. So it's going to be Liz today. All right. Bet. Hall of Famers in their own deadwood. I guess it's allowed. Could fall on either side of the coin on that. This brings me to a point. I got to give a shout out to my dear friend Julia Bond, who during, I think it was qualifying yesterday,
It was.
simply went for some deadwood and on the right gutter. And her spare ball hooked from the half board and got 6.
It sure did. It sure did. We couldn't help but laugh. We were crossing together, and I looked at her and I said, "That's why you made Damon do it on the show, huh?" She goes, "Yes, exactly."
Shout out to JB. We'll see JB again tomorrow. She is in the top 24 in points and will be competing in the Tour Championship. LJ, bang. Looking for title number 26. They'd have Hall of Fame careers across multiple decades. Shannon, that's a good one. Well, we've got ourselves a match here. 1 pin deficit. Or Pluhowski. The single pin leaves for Shannon, a 7 pin. 2 3 pins. Can she double up? You bet she can. a first to double in this match. It feels like one of those matches, but you also anticipate the doubles not to stop at this point.
Yeah, that one felt like the best shot we've seen from Shannon in this particular game. In our final match of the night, some of the other ones were like, is that going where we want it to?
If there was a lane that Liz have had any kind of trouble on, it was the pitch out on the right lane. And just as I say it, that's a very good break. Again, a lot of 9 there. It's only happened on the right lane.
Yeah, it can feel like 32 hooks a bit more. And so you think you can open up your angles a bit, and so occasionally throw it to the right.
All right, Liz clean through 6. Felt like one of those missed opportunities. That's Puhalski, who did shoot 269 in semifinal number 2 versus Lindsay Boomershine to advance. Is now trailing by 9. 7th frame. Tin pin again on the left lane. Entry angle not quite there. We saw a similar hit just a couple of frames ago. Just not quite getting up the hill. Fine display of spare shooting from both of these players. But Puhalski got a chance to really put a little distance between these two legends. He's got a 10-pin lead, looking for more. There it is. The titles for Puhalski, I think the most misleading figure you could look at. But make no mistake about it, from multi-time Team USA Trials champion and or U.S. Amateur champion. She won the BPA Women's All-Star in 2014. She's got Women's Championships titles. She's been the World Bowling Writers Bowler of the Year. And every single award you could win collegiately at Nebraska. This is a legend. Bang!
Great shot.
Those last 3 frames from Shannon leave no doubt that she's seeing the lane clearly, in the right piece of equipment, making great shots. I mean, we already knew that. 269 in her semifinal match to make it here. Just the start of this game was a little rocky from an execution standpoint. I think she would agree with that, but heart of a champion, she gets back on track really quickly.
Great shot there for Liz Johnson, trying to remain in this one. At least put Shannon Puhalski in a situation to make a mistake late and give herself a chance to win this title. Again, the situation for Olivia Farwell in the top 24 in points. If Liz Johnson wins the title, Farwell is out, Johnson is in. If Puhalski wins, Farwell will remain in the top 24 and bowl tomorrow. Gotta have it to remain alive. Through the nose, 3-6. And Shannon can start to smile just a little bit. And the chop of the spare obviously drops that max down to 196. Pluhowski now about to step up in the 9th and 10th to officially close it out. Oh. Now that's a Shannon Pluhowski reaction right there. With the spare, this one is in the books. Shannon Pluhowski. Title number 5 officially on the PWBA Tour. She has now won at least twice, maybe 3 times with Autumn in the building. Autumn was there last year at the Twin Cities. I don't recall if she was there at the Music City Classic. But 3 titles in the last 2 seasons, 26 shows since the relaunch. The exhale. So interesting, right? Someone who doesn't really have anything to prove, but it took her so long to kind of shake that non-title since the relaunch thing. It happened in 2021. Since then, she's back to business. There it is, officially. Shannon Pluhowski, 226. She defeats Liz Johnson to take home the PWBA Pepsi Open. The embrace, mom, daughter. It doesn't get much better than that, folks. Family first. Meanwhile, what an opportunity for us to see Liz Johnson in a stepladder final with an opportunity to win her 26th title. It won't happen today, but these are one of those situations where, Sid, you just gotta enjoy it, right? These things we assume Liz will be back and back and back, but we know that's not how it works all the time. But what a moment, an opportunity for the people in this building. But this one belongs to Shannon Pluhowski. Stay tuned for the trophy presentation. Well, folks are leaving the chat like it's the last tournament. It's not. We got championship tomorrow, folks. We ain't going nowhere. I appreciate all your compliments, but we're not going nowhere. We'll be back here at 5 p.m. tomorrow. We do have the trophy presentation. Here's Robin Graves.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Hi.
Hi.
Title number 5.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
It's been a long season, so it feels great to end on a high note. I wasn't in tour championships until this week, so the last 2 days have been great.
Speaking of that, tour championship, you were out on the bubble at the start of the week, added to the resume here with title number 5. What was the mindset just coming in, to Rochester?
As long as I was still bowling, I had a chance to make it, so just try to keep throwing good shots and winning matches.
Title number 5 also signifies something else that might have been on the mind, but we're going to bring it up to the forefront. This now makes you eligible for the PWBA Hall of Fame. What does that mean?
It's one of those things you always think about, but you never know if it's going to happen. I was in the crowd of the tour for a lot of years. So the fact that it's back and the fact that now I can be eligible is, a weight lifted off my shoulders.
Anyone you want to thank for this win?
Of course, there's tons of people. Hammer, I Am Bowling, Turbo, USBC, BPAA. Mike and Jason are here every week with us. dealing with a bunch of women that are emotional at times, so thank you to them. My family at home, Autumn's here, but obviously everyone else is at home. Carrie, Christopher, London, love you guys. Emerson, almost forgot one.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2025 PWBA Pepsi Open champion, Ms. Shannon Plahowski. Thank you all for coming out. It has been an amazing week, but we still have more bowling to do. Tomorrow starts our season-ending major, the Tour Championship. $50,000 on the line, Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year. A lot of things are happening this week at ABC Gates Bowl. Thank you all for coming out. We hope to see you tomorrow, Monday, and Tuesday for our live stepladder finals on CBS Sports Network. Thank you for your continuous support. We'll see you tomorrow.
Great job by Robin Graves, as always, with our champion Shannon Plahowski. She will join us here momentarily in the Bowl TV booth. Of course, a couple of important photos first before her additional media responsibilities. All right, while we wait for Shannon, let's step aside momentarily to hear a word from, again, proud USBC Gold partner and Lane Talk, and then Plahowski on the other side.
Got some exciting news.
We now have a pro subscription
for bowlers who really want to take their game to the next level.
The biggest thing, you can tag and label each game.
Whenever you use a ball, whatever oil pattern that you're on,
you can now track the ball's performance and compare balls side by side.
It is incredibly powerful, and it is going to help you analyze your game.
Boom! Try Lane Talk Pro free for 1 month. Upgrading the app, and we'll see you.
All right, welcome back, folks. Again, we just await the arrival of our latest champion here, Shannon Plahowski. And now the top 24 officially is set, with Plahowski winning. Olivia Farwell will be bowling tomorrow. And so that is set, of course. Again, what a great run by Liz Johnson. Norah Johansson, who was in the first semifinal against the living legend, also fantastic. All right, we're ready, and we've got the champion, Shannon Plahowski, here. This is the title number 3 in the last 2 seasons, right? You won a couple last year, Twin Cities and the Music City Classic, but a lot of emotion, as you just talked to Robin. Describe how you're feeling right now, and you bowled spectacular, so I know it's obviously feeling good, but why does this mean so much at this point in your career?
Because you never know if you're going to get another chance. You know, I'm obviously getting older, had a birthday yesterday. You just never know when it's going to come around again. So just to take advantage of it when I can. And, you know, it's been a long season. I haven't bowled very good. Kind of figured some stuff out at the U.S. Open, even though I didn't bowl good, but physically kind of figured some stuff out. So I think that's been my focus the last 4 days or however long we've been here, is trying to work through that.
When you are, you know, someone of your stature, right, and you just essentially talked about, hey, I still go through things physically, mentally, whatever it is. If you can be somewhat specific, what was the trigger? What did you figure out at the U.S. Women's Open?
My push weight wasn't fast enough, so I was chasing it a lot, pulling it down from the top, coming over the top, spinning it more, which is not good. So really focused on pushing a little sooner, or trying to push sooner. And then I, still have my bad shots, but they were few and far between the last couple days, so that's obviously a better thing.
At this point, Shan, Hall of Fame eligible, and tomorrow you start the run for another major. Walk us through what happens tonight.
We're going to go to dinner. Autumn's here, so we're just going to have dinner, hang out. Tomorrow's a long day after practice, nothing for a while, so it'll be nice to, relax and regroup. Like I said, I wasn't in Tour Championships until the last couple days, so I bowled pretty good at the Rochester Open, but I couldn't win a match, so that was frustrating, but I felt like I was bowling okay. So I was like, well, I just take the good with the bad, and I knew it was going to be shorter the next couple days. Typically falls in my favor. I could throw it a little harder, and so we're here.
The women's tour is unique, I think, in that we have our families here with us a lot, and specifically you have your family here with you a lot. And this week you have Autumn. What's it like to be a mom on tour, the role model for your daughter?
It's hard, right? When we're all together, there's a lot going on, so it's hard to make sure I focus on bowling, but I've just been able to do it. The kids are great in the bowling center. Autumn loves bowling, so she's been, keeping score, and everybody jokes because she drew big L's on my paper the other day that I kept losing matches. She was reminding me that I was missing spares, so she keeps it real, and that keeps it lighthearted, and the little ones at home don't really know bowling yet, but Carrie does an amazing job with them. It just now with 2 little ones, it's a little harder for everybody to come, but I know they're watching, living and dying by every shot, and I miss them. I wish they were here, but we'll see them in a couple days.
I'm sure their support is felt.
Yes.
Last question before we get you out of here. Just from the lane play perspective, obviously the lone lefty, so you had the opportunity to set things up for yourself. What was your game plan from practice, of course, at the start of the championship pair?
Not practice very much. It's something I've kind of learned as I've made more step ladders to not really chew them up. It doesn't usually benefit me, so I threw a couple shots to make sure that they were still doing what I thought they were doing. The right lane is hooked more for me every pair, and so just making sure the right lane was still hooking and the left lane was good. And we did end up putting surface on it, but it was the first time we had hit my entity since the last tournament. So I was a little skeptical because I didn't want to change it. Right, it's been really good, right. But I was like, my tendencies to throw it harder, so I need just to make sure that it will help.
Well, congratulations, Shannon. Great performance, title number 5, and PWBA Hall of Fame eligible. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
All right, that is Shannon Plahowski. She's got more media responsibilities to take care of, and we will see Sid here join us once more and again to close out the show here in just a moment. While we have a second, of course, the quick programming note, the first round of competition of the PWBA Tour Championship does begin tomorrow evening at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll be the first round, 8 games, match play, round robin. We'll have 3 rounds in total, 24 games, and the top 5 finalists will meet on CBS Sports Network Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern, right here, or not right here on Bowl TV, but on CBS Sports Network, where you'll see also Sydney Brumman. That is correct, right?
Yes, that is correct, because Kelly is in Guatemala doing amazing things with Junior Team USA.
All right, so we'll see Sid, of course, with Dave Ryan here this Tuesday. But before we get there, Sid, just a quick recap. Shannon Plahowski, phenomenal, but that entire championship round, both semifinals, 4 really amazing players. We saw the future, we saw the present, and we saw a legend all tonight. And, of course, the lefty legend is here in our champion tonight. What do you take away from it?
You just took the thoughts right out of my head. I think we saw what the tour was and is becoming. And, we keep saying the future is two-handed bowling. Well, it's here, it's present. Norah is proof of that. And there's proof that no matter what your age is, you're still capable and you're still available to come out here and win. Liz Johnson is proof of that. But Shannon Plahowski just reminds us that she is still a living legend as well, and somebody to keep an eye on as we start our next major tomorrow.
Indeed, the new ageless wonder, Shannon Plahowski, and of course, at 51 years of age, Liz Johnson still doing her thing. And again, one more reminder, tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Tour Championship, Round 1, practice session in the morning. We will not have that on Bowl TV, so we will see you at 5 p.m. We got a lot of things to shoot, actually, for CBS Sports Network. So Curtis Von Kruger, Kayla Smiley will all be working hard in the morning. With that said, we will bid you adieu for now. I want to thank the Bowling Proprietors Association of America and the BPAA Board, the United States Bowling Congress, and the USBC Board. Kegel, the official lane maintenance provider of the United States Bowling Congress and the PWBA. The PWBA itself, certainly its athletes, and you, the Bowl TV community. Shannon Plahowski, 5-time champion now, and PWBA Hall of Fame eligible. For Patrick Martinez, Curtis Von Kruger, Kayla Smiley, Jason Thomas, and our entire crew and staff. For Sydney Brummett, my name is Emil Williams Jr. We say so long for now. We'll see you tomorrow. Tour Championship is next. This has been a presentation of the PWBA Pepsi Open. You watched it live and only on Bowl TV. And remember, Pepsi and Bowl TV live here.